Okay, in this video, I want to show you how you can save a session, or you can save a particular pipeline that you have already created along with any data that you have already processed using that particular pipeline. Now, this would be a very interesting feature for any developer or any architect who has actually defined the analysis process and also done some analysis already, so that, for example, if you want to do any change impact analysis, you could basically and very simply just introduce a couple of more system sources with the new versions and just make a comparisons. And that would be a much more intuitive and a much more faster way of comparing different versions that you have already saved in terms of analysis for a system as well. Now, in order to do that, for example, I have already created this very simple pipeline. Now, what we have done is we've introduced names for each session. Now, this would be very random names, and this could be changed as well when you want to save the session. But typically when you start a certain session, you will be this particular session will be assigned a certain name. Now, obviously, we also provide the status that this session is not saved at the moment. So which means in case you close this window, or you reload the session, or you clear out the pipeline using any of these features, you would basically lose any work that you have done in the workspace. Now, for example, if you have already created this pipeline like this, now what you need to just simply do is you can go to the settings, and you would now find a session section where you can basically do a save or a save as. Now, if you do a quick save, now this would save this particular pipeline if it had any data. Now, for example, in this state, we don't have any data at the moment, because we haven't really executed the pipeline so far. It's just the pipeline and how they are arranged in the workspace. Now, if you want to just do a save, now this would basically save the pipeline as it is. And this quick save would actually take this session name that we have assigned randomly. For example, I can just go ahead and just save. Now we see that the session has already been saved. Now, for example, if I just cleared it out as well, I can simply load it back using this load feature. Now you could see that there is already this one session that we have saved so far. Now you could verify that based on the date, the name, the date, and the time that this was done. And if you want to just load it, you can just simply load it. Now, that was pretty quick, right? So so this is basically the same pipeline that we have created before. Now let's imagine we've we've executed the pipeline. Now we'll have to just wait a couple of minutes just so that this process completes. Now, once this is done, I will show you that this pipeline could also be saved with the data as well, and we can reload this same session where we have left off using the load function. Right, now that we have the data as well, now we can go to the launcher and see that, okay, there are data that we can visualize as well. Now if we come back, now one thing that we can do is we can go ahead and now, for example, let's say I want to change the name and do something else. Now let's say I want to give this train ticket analysis, train ticket basic analysis. Okay, now if I do this and now save the session, okay, now you can see that we have defined it as train ticket, and this session is now saved. Now if we go ahead and now again just clear out the session, And let's say even we want to start a completely new session, right? Now this is a very completely new session, but now if you go back to the session and try to load it, okay, now you see that there are two sessions that have been um, saved. Now obviously this is the older one, which does not have any data. Now obviously you could see that there are no data in here. You can clear that out. But now if you load this this particular new one that we have saved just a little bit ago, I could see that the same session with the data is now available. Now if you just go on to click on the launch visualizer, you can see that the data is still available for all the analysis that you would want to do from that point on. Now let's imagine you wanted to extend this and introduce more functionality and then save again. Obviously you can do that as well using the same save functionality. Now let's say you want to delete any sessions. For example, you want to delete this old session which did not have any data. Obviously you can do that by just coming back into the load session, and then you could see that there is a garbage bin here, which is basically indicative of deleting any sessions. Now if you do that, you could be shown this message, and you click on that, you can see that there are no more of that redundant old session that we've said before. Okay, now that is basically how you would work with any sessions that you have created so far.